Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks again for allowing me to come into your living room and on your computer. It's none other than Fonz Newswan live at the Man Cave. Hey, look, today's Man Cave commentary is going to center around my main man from C-Voice, Donald Jackson, and Elgin Bailey, and the affair, or let's call it an event. The event that they're going to have on December 20th. They will be, once again, feeding the community. It's going to be, what time is it going to be? It's going to be from 3 to 7 on December 20th. Now, last year, I think it was on December 17th, they had the whole community out. They fed the community. They had good music. They had great volunteers. And the atmosphere was just lovely. It was a great way to bring in the holiday season with the giving, the sharing, and there's a whole lot of love. And it's good. Now, it's going to be held at the Lincoln University, you know, where Gordon School used to be. So come on out. Volunteer. Bring some donations. Get in touch with C-Voice Radio, Donald Jackson, or hit Elgin Bailey on Facebook if you're friends with him, and ask him, what can you bring? What can you do? Make this a community effort. I mean, they spearheading it. They're getting out in front of it. So they're going to need some soldiers and some troops. So by all means, get out there and help them. And that's all we're going to talk about that. Let me see what else is going on. I got something special for you. Fonz Newswan is hosting and will be the keynote speaker at a seminar. And the name of the seminar is this: Turning Dreams into a Reality. Right now, we got this dream team together. These are people that aspire to do great things, and for one reason or another, maybe their confidence has been shaken. And what we're going to do is get together, and we're going to network, and we're going to find out how people that have accomplished things and that is doing things, what were some of the key methods that they used in order to turn their dreams into a reality. I realized after my 24 years in retail, I realized that fear was not an option. Fear is nothing but false evidence appearing real. And I refuse to allow that to paralyze me. For some of you who know my story, you realize I came from a penny candy store on 2nd Avenue where business was so slow and non-existent. I used to have to come out and stand on the pavement and say, yo, I'm up here. I'm up here. And very few people would hear me because they were going up and down the main highways of life and Lincoln Highway. And then when I realized they couldn't hear me from the middle of the block on an abandoned street like 2nd Avenue, I had to run down to the corner of 2nd and Lincoln Highway and say, yo, I'm up here. I'm up here. And more people started to listen. And then I realized that in order to get them off of the main highway of Lincoln Highway, I had to provide some sort of goods or services in my store that nobody on Lincoln Highway did. So I had to go to New York to find items and stuff like that. That was different than everybody else was carrying. And then more people started coming up up to my store. So there's a lesson in all that. And I'm not going to give it all away because you're going to have to come to the seminar to hear the whole story. But a lot of you do know that I came from a penny candy store making maybe, maybe $2,000-$3,000 a year, $4,000 a year, to a sneaker store or a sneaker franchise on the main highway of Lincoln Highway, where I was doing $700,000 to $800,000 a year business a year. I would want to know how that happened. You know what I mean? So this is what this is all about: turning your dreams into a reality. Some of the elephants in the room we understand is fear. We understand that another big elephant in the room is making a conscious decision and commitment to do what you say your goal is and what it requires. First, you got to make up your mind. What is your goal? What is your purpose? What is it that you want to do? What is it? Where does your passion lie that you love so much that you'd almost do it for free, that you can't live life without doing it? What is it? Identify that bad boy, and then let's come up with a plan on how you can achieve it. And then after that, you got to go. You got to fight for it. You got to do everything that you can to achieve it. You got to take the knots. You got to take the hits, the downs, the ups, all that, and refuse to quit. Look, let me tell you something. Some of the biggest differences between a successful business person and an unsuccessful business person is a successful business person. Oh, he does a lot of things. He learns and all that. But he doesn't quit. You heard that. You heard that old saying, winners never quit and quitters never win. Well, that's pretty much the truth. So that's one of the big things. I know my store on 2nd Avenue got the windows got shot out. I mean, I was a guy from South Philadelphia opening up a store in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. People really didn't know me. So it's like they shot my windows out and took the majority of my inventory out the front of the store. So what did I do? The inventory that they didn't take, I put in a friend's house. I sold it out the trunk of my car, and I did what I had to do until such time another opportunity opened up. And guess what? I wasn't so scared just because I had a bad situation at the first one. I jumped at the second situation. We'll talk more about that too, man, because it's like a line, man. It's a beautiful thing, man, when you overcome your fears, and even though your stuff get messed up, well, come to think of it, they used to break in the windows in that store too on Lincoln Highway. But that's another story. We're going to talk about that because you're going to take some hits and you got to keep rocking and rolling. You cannot quit. Can't hang your head low. There's this famous writer who said, look, a setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback. I like that. Many windows in my stores got broken out. I had to put plywood up. 3 o'clock in the morning, they called me up. But anyway, that's another thing. You got to make a decision. Bam. What else we got working here? Of course, you got to take personal responsibility for your dream and goal. It can't be on anybody else. You got to do it. You got to do it. Night and day. I know I wake up 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning working on my dream. It's crazy, but it's what you got to do. But a lot of that is because of love too. So I ain't going to tell no lie. Oh, here goes something. You got to detoxify your life. See, I'm not going to give you everything because you might not want to come. You got to get rid of that negative influences in your life. Them toxic people that always says, no, you can't, this and that. Infiltrating your mind with negative thoughts and feelings to such an extent you start doubting your own doggone self. Hey, look, let me tell you something. All of us people were born with greatness inside of us. All that's got to be done is tapped into, uncorked, have the proper kind of input, and the output's going to be greatness. And you understand what I'm saying? That's why I'm always smiling and acting silly, because you know why? I'm having the time of my life just going after my dreams. And negative people, now, I'll tell you, I don't have a lot of friends. I got a small knit group. But the small knit group, we positive thinking people. It ain't saying we don't have no problems. We don't talk about issues in our life. But we don't knock each other down and talk about what can't be done and stuff like that. Them kind of people I just can't use. That's a Lou Rawls song. So that's another thing. Hey, we're going to talk about that too. We're going to set goals. We're going to set a personal goal, career goal, and we're going to set some social goals. We're going to get into some stuff. Now, we can't do it all at one seminar because it's going to be exciting and we're going to be charged up and hyped up. So we may have to do another one. I'll get your input on that. Detoxify your life. Let's see what else. Now, you got to know that's going to be hard, right? So we're not going to pretend that this thing's going to be easy. But you know what? If you put your mind to it, you can do it. You know the great thing about the journey? Sometimes you may be reaching for one goal, and that goal seems to become real elusive. But during that journey, you're starting to learn new skills, new patience, especially if you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like going to seminars and reading about what you're doing and practicing what you're doing and getting yourself out there and marketing yourself and doing all those things. All of a sudden, what seemed to be your original goal, with all the talents and all the knowledge that you have obtained along the way, it can kind of like take you to a different direction. Now, all of a sudden, you find, oh man, I'm more suitable over here. I'm starting to get more inquiries over here. Let me perfect this thing, because evidently this is where life has taken us. Hey, look, it's like I read this book called Who Moved My Cheese? Okay. In my life and in all the businesses that I worked in, when what I'm doing stops becoming popular, fashionable, and profitable, I have to recognize that and learn how to veer away from that, not to invest any more money. Do not fall in love with your mistakes, and learn how to veer off from there. Start backing up off of the bad stuff and then finding some new cheese. You need to read that book. It's only 88 pages. And you find new cheese, new investments, a new way to take your life, because this is the way the world is turning. How come you think Kodak had so much problem? Everybody else is going digital and they still trying to do film. A roll of film, 100 film, 400 film. Now, they probably still in business because they were Kodak, and I'm sure they're doing their thing, but it's all about digital cameras now. Some people just so hard. Some people just want, look, you can't fall in love with your mistakes. Okay? Do not fall in love with mistakes. That's why groups, bands, and everything else fall by the wayside, because they forgot to move their cheese. They were still doing rhythm and blues when rap was the thing, or this nature. So that's what it's about. Okay, look, if nobody's told you today, look, I love you guys. December the 20th, I want you at the seminar. I need you to RSVP me by the 13th so I know how much food to have catered. It's going to be lightly catered. I'm not rich. Lightly catered, and it's going to be for those who respond and in advance, so I know how much food to have for them. But the entrance is totally free. It's going to be at the Filet of Soul, 3911 West Lincoln Highway. Two of my great friends, Tracy Mars and Lisa Mars, man and wife, they are pursuing their dream. Now they got the Filet of Soul, formerly the Triton Restaurant, because they're pursuing their dreams. And this is what I'm talking about. They ain't scared. They aren't scared. And we're trying to make that thing happen for them. So you be patient. But you come on out. And I'll tell you, going after your goal is much more fulfilling than going to 9 to 5 every day. Now, I ain't saying quit your job, but it's so much more fulfilling chasing your dream than it is fulfilling somebody else's. So look, if nobody's told you today that they love you, Fonz loves you, Baby Cakes love you, and we want you to have a great day. Wrap your arms around somebody and tell them that you love them today as well. God bless you and have a great day. Peace.